Well, obviously Jamal's a great player. I think he's 10 for 41 in our 3 games now, and Tony Snell has had that assignment in all 3 games. So a big reason why we're 2-1 this year against him is because of the job Tony Snell's done. He's developed defensively. I've been talking about that for 3 weeks, that our team has gone to another level because of Tony's development defensively and his concentration defensively, trusting himself, trusting his teammates, using his length. He's gotten stronger over the offseason, and he's now starting to use that. Kendall and Hugh have always been really tough, tenacious defenders. So our backcourt, I think, is hard to go against. And then you got Cam that he's got as good a feet as any big man I've been able to coach. At 6'8", 240, he's hard to drive. The job he did on O'Brien was averaging a double-double on us, and he gets 0 and 0 tonight. So I thought that was huge. And then you've got Alex, who just anchors our defense. First team all defensive team. I think in my opinion, he's the best defender in the league. He blocked 4 shots tonight and probably changed another 14. He just does a lot of good things for us. So defensively, it's hard, in my mind, to find a lot of flaws in what these guys have done. It's 2 games in a row where teams have shot less than 32%. It's 2 games in a row that we've played in an outstanding basketball league where we've not at least been tied or in the lead. Both Wyoming and San Diego State have never led us. And that's pretty phenomenal. 80 minutes of basketball in this league, and you haven't been behind. That's a great credit to what our guys have done defensively.
One quick follow-up on the Tony thing. Steve said he thinks from his perspective, Tony's starting to realize what he can do. And I know that's something we've talked about.
Well, it's maturity. He's in his junior year. So you want guys, I think a big thing about college basketball are how guys develop. And we take a lot of pride in that. And our staff works very hard about whether it's recruiting or once players get to us. That's important to us because we got a lot of guys on our staff, like myself, that played the game. And we developed. You come in as a freshman, you just keep developing your game, whether it's ball handling, defense, your basketball IQ, your ability to get scouting reports, understanding nutrition, understanding the weight room. You try to develop each and every year. And I think if you look at our guys, I think they're developing. All 5 of those starters are back next year. So, they've developed very quickly. And they've done a lot of good things to date. And to be at 28 wins playing the schedule we've played, again, it's just I can't tell you how proud I am of the basketball team because I know how hard the schedule's been and how demanding these games have been, and yet they just keep performing at a high level.
Let's go here first.
Coach, in San Diego, it seemed like their play on the guards kind of took UNM out of the offensive rhythm. Tonight, they tried to do that. They were kind of double teaming right away on the ball handler, and you guys were able to just really neutralize that. Talk about the play of the guards on offense.
Well, we made some adjustments. You have to do that from game one. When you get it handed to you, you look at that film as coaches and you learn from it. And they really stunted to the ball, really attacked when we came off screens and made a pass to the cutter. They really jumped from the guy that was making the pass. And I think we've made some pretty good adjustments in the last 2 games. We've been able to score 70 and 60. But in all 3 of those games, we've held them to 55, 60, and now tonight 50. So you give yourself a chance even when your offense wasn't clicking. And I think our guys have realized that even in a game where maybe we don't shoot the ball well, we got a chance to win if we are the best defensive team. And this team's really grown and matured at that end. And then, as I said early on, when we do shoot the ball well, I think we just take our game to a whole other level like we did to start the second half.
Okay, let's go here.
Coach, all season long you've talked about the high ceiling that your team has. In regards to to Cam and Alex and their progression throughout the season, they just seem like they're getting better and better and better the more time they see on the court. How high is their ceiling in terms of the level of potential they have?
Well, I hope a lot. One's a junior, one's a sophomore. So, I hope they keep we want them to continue to improve. Kendall Williams, player of the year in this league, but my hope is he's going to be better next year. We've talked about Tony's development, but I think he's going to be better next year. Hugh Greenwood, I don't know what his record is now, but you try to do some research on what his record is as our starting point guard. It's phenomenal. It's the best start in school's history. So we want him developing, just as we need our young bench. We've got 2 seniors coming off our bench and then 3 freshmen. We've got some freshmen redshirting. We got a kid transferring that's sitting out. So all these young kids have got to continue to develop because we'll ask them to produce next year. But that development side of it's very big, and our bigs obviously are much better now than what they were in November, and they were pretty good in November.
Let's go right here.
Coach, can you compare this team to the number 3 seed team from 2010 that might not have made it as far as you thought it could? And
yeah, it's hard. I don't like comparing really players and teams. That was a special team. It's the winningest team in school's history. That team was phenomenal, very talented. That team was a 4-guard lineup because we had Darrington Hobson and Roman Martinez playing the 3 and 4 spots. So it was a little different team. This team's more traditional, 3 guards, 2 bigs. We can play smash mouth. We can get out and run. So it's a little bit different makeup. I thought we were very tired in that 30-5 season. I thought by the time we got to the NCAA, we were tired. We started that year 0-2 in the conference, and we ripped off our league record 14 in a row to win the conference. And I thought once we got to the NCAA tournament, we were really tired and fatigued. We had a break. We had a 1-week break that came at a good time for this team, and we were able to go 4-1 to finish the season. And then we got a little bit of a break here before this tournament, and we're playing very well here. So we seem to be hitting our stride a little bit more maybe with this team than that other team. I think when you win 14 in a row in this league, it wears on you. And that was a fight right to the finish. We had to win the league championship at BYU, which is not an easy place to play, let alone win a championship. So I hope this team's a little bit more fresh going into the NCAA tournament. We'll see. We got a tough turnaround as we got to play a 3 o'clock game against a very good opponent tomorrow.
Over here.
Coach, 7 turnovers early. It was 19-18. Then you went 10 minutes without a turnover, 24-4 run in that stretch. Can you talk about what you did to limit the turnovers and how big that stretch was?
I tell you what this team's been amazing on is at timeouts or at halftime, when you stress something to this team and emphasize it, they really respond. They take it to heart. Maybe it's somebody that's scoring. Maybe we're not getting rebounds. Or like tonight in the first half, I thought we turned the ball over with lazy passes. And I just revert back to what I put on the board at the beginning of the game. I'd put the word crisp. Make crisp passes. This is not a team you can throw soft, lazy passes to. They're too athletic. They're going to get deflections, and it really gets them going in transition. Jamal Franklin is so good in transition, and I thought, for the most part, when we built our leads, we kept them out of transition, and that was a big key. So we settled down, and in the second half, I thought we did a much better job taking care of the ball.
Hey, Coach, congratulations again. Real quick, the evolution of your team. How important was it? We talked the other day about that tough schedule early, but you won some gut check games there, the George Mason game, Indiana State. How important was it for this young team to win those games early in the evolution and the improvement?
Well, I think probably 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, whether it was locally or nationally, the rub was, we don't have a big win margin. We're not blowing people out. We're not, and I was saying all along, the teams that we play, you're not going to blow out. I don't care if you're playing them at the pit, you're playing on a neutral floor, or you're playing in their building. It's been a very difficult schedule. Our schedule strength is going to end up after the postseason here is over. Our schedule strength is going to be top 5 in the country. Our RPI is going to be 2 or 1 going into the NCAA. That's phenomenal. So it's not about win margin. It's about winning. And these guys learned very early in the year, down 16 in the second half on our home opener to Davidson. They find a way to win. They go to the Virgin Island tournament. We're beat, absolutely beat against George Mason, find a way to win the last 10 seconds of that game. So they start believing in themselves, and then we beat a nationally ranked team in UConn, and I think we left the Virgin Islands thinking, you know what, we could be pretty good. And that really helped the teaching end of it, that we were able to play a tough schedule in November, win games, come back in December and play a pretty much heavy-loaded home schedule and get a lot of practices in and win. But we've had our share of tight games. We know how our team knows how to win in late game situations. We've had things like first halves where we can't make a free throw, and then the last 5 minutes we make all of them. It's just this team's been that way, and that believing in themselves has just continued. That momentum's been outstanding. And now by winning, this game, we set ourselves up to try to win another championship. And, we're 33 games into this, and we've yet to lose back-to-back games. And, again, I just couldn't be more proud of our student-athletes. They've had a phenomenal season.
Steve, tonight's the third time you've been able to play San Diego State this season, and the past couple times you guys really got the better of them with your big man. And I'm just kind of curious to think what your chances of them are for the NCAA tournament.
Oh, what our chances are?
San Diego State.
Oh, they're a great team. I think you look at, the top 4 teams in this league are physical, they're athletic, all really good defensive teams, which I think you have to be to give yourself a chance to advance in the national tournament. These are great neutral games for us. I don't know if tomorrow's going to be neutral or not yet, but these are all great neutral games going into a neutral NCAA tournament. And then I think Boise is deserving to make it as well. This is a team that is very explosive offensively, and to finish 5th in the best league in the country, that carries a lot of weight. And so hopefully we get the 5 deserving teams in. But in regard to San Diego State, this is a seasoned team, a lot like our locker room. They've had a lot of winning, so they understand winning. So you get them in a national tournament site, you're going to have to play awfully well to beat San Diego State in the NCAA tournament.
Coach, two teams with completely different styles are going to be playing right about now. Do you have the luxury of not having to have a preference? I mean, if you go big, you go big. If if it's athletic, you go athletic. Is that a luxury that a lot of people don't have?
Well, early in the season, I would have said we would have done something different, but I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you the whole game plan, but I can rest assured you we're going big tomorrow, regardless of who our opponent is. We're pretty committed to big. It's worked very well for us. So you are right. Colorado State is more of a physical big team because of Iverson in the middle and what Horning does in the 4 spot. But UNLV is extremely athletic, and they've got a pretty good record in this building, and they play a little bit more up-tempo maybe. But, we've been able to play a lot. I think, again, that goes back to our schedule. We've been able to play a lot of different styles this year, and our guys have been able to handle each and every one of those styles.